All right, we are going to, I'm going to walk us through a tutorial on how to use our ProcessBook template. So you all have the ProcessBook template. It is in your Project 1 folder. And it's called ProcessBook template. I'm going to go ahead and open it. And this is what it looks like. It is a multi-page document that has, if I open up my page, a couple things. We're going to do a few things before we get started. So when we open up InDesign, just like when we opened up Illustrator, we're going to choose our workspace. So you either can go in the upper right-hand corner. Right now, mine says Essentials. I'm going to click on that and move it to Typography. Okay. You can also find it if you go Windows, Workspace, and then choose Typography. Those are both ways you can get to it. So the first thing we want to do is change our workspace to Typography. And the reason is then it gives us all our type tools across the top, as you can see. And then all of the other tools we're going to be needing regarding page layout and type on the right. So the first thing I want you to do is select when you're the Pages window, and you click it over on the right side. And the way InDesign works is InDesign is a tool we use for multi-page layout. So it's always about creating documents that have lots of pages, not just one. Usually there's multiple pages. And the convenience of it, it's designed for that. It's designed for publishing. It's designed for making books and brochures and anything that's multiple pages. It works brilliantly. And the thing that works really well is that we can create master pages so that things happen on every page. So you'll see when you open the Pages palette, there's a little bar that you can slide up and down. The bottom of the bar are our actual pages with things we have on them. And the top part of the bar are all of the master pages. These are the pages that have been designed into the document to create information. So the very first one is called 00 Global Details. And I'm double clicking on it. And when I do that, it brings me a blank page. And you'll see here down at the bottom of that page, a couple things. I'm in the Type tool. You want to make sure you're in the Type tool. And then you're going to select the type that says Insert Project Title here. And you're going to do exactly that. You're going to say Project 1, Form and Counter Form. And then it says first name, last name. I'm going to go ahead and put my first name and my last name. Okay. Now, again, I'm on the global. It's very important where we're doing this. We're on the 00 Global Details. I know that because the page number says 00. It says 00. I put in the project I'm in and my name. Okay. Now I'm going to click on actual page 1, which is down here. Double click. Well, wait a minute. Sorry, not page 1. Hold on a second. I have to get to actual page 1. Page 1 is down here. Project 1, Form and Counterform, Amy Decker, page 1. So it's showing me here that that is going to be on every page of my book. So it's on the master page, means it happens on every page of my process book. So that's the first thing we're going to do. I'm going to pause for a minute. Is everyone with me? Does anyone have a question? I don't have, let me see, I don't have my chat open. Let me just see if there's any chats. Okay. I'm going to keep going. So we've done that global details. First thing, that's the very first thing. And you need to do that because that gives us right away on every page your name and what project this process book is for. Now I'm going to go through the very first pages on here are actually, we're going to ultimately delete them. They're just telling us how to use the process book template. So let's start and go over this process book template together. Page 1 here on the pages menu is overview. Process books are required as part of each project. They're going to contain a record of all preliminary and final work. You must therefore retain all project-related materials and keep them organized chronologically, or in a way that's organized in a clear and logical categories. Each process book will allow you to have a better understanding of what you did and how you did it. This is really going to help you illustrate your progress of what you're learning throughout the semester. And when you're ultimately going to interview for freelance, interview for internships, or when you are looking to get a job, employers want to see your process books. They want to see how you think, how you solve problems, how you come up with ideas. They don't want to just see the fancy thing at the end. They want to know how you got there. That's really important. So the process books are important to record all of your work you develop, your work habits, your ideation, your thought process, technical growth, your organizational skills, your presentation skills, and craft skills. You should regularly review your project brief and process materials as you proceed with a project. This will help you keep focused in the big picture and allow you to reflect on the work you're producing. Every project has a full, complete project brief. And so if you are getting along and you're like, gosh, I don't remember what we're doing or where we're at, go back to the project brief, and that will show you where we're at in any given project. Make sure that every stage of the project, written and visual, is documented in this process book. So the objectives of this is to learn to effectively demonstrate your work and thought process. Understand the value of process and practice, develop good listening and note-taking skills, and develop organizational skills. Designers have to pay attention to a lot of details. We are working with lots of elements on a page, lots of things that have to be organized. Organization is very important. Paying attention to details, also very important. And this is really hoping to help you along with that. So note-taking is incredibly important this semester. I'm going to be giving you many verbal instructions in class in addition to our written project briefs. You're expected to take effective notes in class. In particular, conversations that amplify the project briefs, accompany critique exercises, and specifically respond to project solutions in progress. They need to be documented in writing. And we do a lot of that already in a digital classroom, in our online classroom. We're going to be writing lots of notes in Slack and in Mural. You can always take screenshots of Mural and the sketches and the notes you put down in Mural and put those screenshots in your process book. You can put screenshots of Slack and put them in your process book. All the things we do throughout the semester, you want to include in the process book. So the notes on the readings and the lectures I give, you're taking notes, put those notes in the process book. All discussions, all lectures, they're expected that you're taking notes. All critique and project notes have to be in this process book. There can't be just the work with no feedback and no notes. So when people are giving you feedback in these small groups, I'm hoping you're taking notes and writing them down. Those notes go here in the process book. If you're visually taking the notes on your Mural board or in Slack, screenshot it and put them in the process book. Either one is fine. If you're writing written notes in a notebook, you can scan those and put those written notes in your process book as an image, or you can retype them, whichever you prefer. Basically, you want to think of each of these as project narratives, and they need to accompany all the preliminary work and revisions of your projects. In the appropriate section of each process book, notes which are explicit in the project itself should follow the printed briefs. Notes which document responses to early thumbnails should accompany those drawings. Notes which respond to later revisions need to accompany those. The process book is telling a story, and it's adding up so that you make sure that you tell a complete story. In short, take a lot of notes. I cannot stress it enough. Take a lot of notes and put them in your process book. We want to see that how you're progressing throughout the project. Process books must follow the following format. Using this InDesign template that we're looking at right now, you need to include a project brief at the beginning of the book. Include all project work chronologically, in-class notes, written critiques, rationales, revisions and developments, thumbnails, sketches, your computer drawings, etc. Completed project final design must be included at the end, and work must be organized in a logical fashion with categories clearly indicated. And using the template makes it very easy because we have it already set up for you. So I'm going to help you by understanding how to set up your folder structure. So we set up a OneDrive folder, all of us. And so in your OneDrive, you really want to start by organizing your folders. And that when you have all of your work that you're doing every step of the way in its own folder in your OneDrive, it's very easy to put this project book together pretty quickly. So let's walk through that. Step one, when you open up this document, is what we've already done. We go into the global digital master page and input the project title and student name. That's what we've done. It's under pages, and it's the global details double-lot page, and we've already done that. All other master pages are based on this global details master. Therefore, the information that you put in it will populate throughout the document. Step 3 is using the type tool, replace the project brief placeholder text on page 3, which is an absolute page 6. This should include the overview information from the project brief PDF provided in class. So I've given you a PDF it's in our project brief on Blackboard, as well as you want to add, so you want to put that project brief I've given you, the literal project brief I've given you in this document, and most importantly, your own descriptive rationale. Hold on, I want to highlight that. Hope I can't, it's making me make a new box. Blow this up so you can see it. As well as your own descriptive rationale regarding the decisions you've made along the way. Essentially, you want this section to give an overview of your thinking and working process that eventually led you to the final design. You can't write the rationale until you're completely done with the design. And a design rationale is where you're telling us why you did what you did. What was the choices you made? Why did you make the choices you made? You know, you all, for this project, for example, you all had a 5-word compass. So you want to tell us, what were those 5 words? What about your design speaks to those 5 words that you used in your design compass? So tell us why you chose the choices you chose and why you did what you did in your design. So then after we've put the actual project brief in and our design rationale, we move into beginning to place our images into each corresponding section. Remember, when you place a file into InDesign, it does not embed. It is linked back to the original file. And this is why it's very important for us to keep our image files organized in a logical place on our OneDrive. It says computer, but we're going to be using our OneDrive. At the end of it, after we have everything in here, this is also very important. You're going to export this as a PDF. And we'll talk about it one more time as we get a little closer to the end of this first project. But don't give me the InDesign file. I want a PDF. So let's talk about the way we're going to organize our OneDrive. So here is your first thing. Your project, your process book file is going to be what we already named it. We've already named our process book, so don't worry about what this says, but just your first folder that we created, that I had you all create on day 1. So with your name on it and our classroom number on it. So it's the class number, our name, and that's the folder that's sitting on our OneDrive right now. We all should have this the very first folder, the OneDrive folder. And then we're going to put Project 1 ProcessBook. And then when we do Project 2, we'll have Project 2 ProcessBook, and then we'll have Project 3 ProcessBook, so on and so forth. So Project 1 ProcessBook is where we're at today. Then you want to create an images folder. All the images that are going to go in our process book are going to be in that folder in subfolders: notes, research, sketches, roughs, refinements, and final artwork. The red document right here is our process book, and you're going to put our classroom number. You're in section 3, so you want to say it's 1104-03, your last name, process book 01, this is project 1, and then InDesign. It's an InDesign file. Okay, that's where the file goes. And the reason this is so important is because all of the images we're going to put onto this document are going to link to this image folder, to each one of these subfolders. Once you put an image in InDesign, it's not in InDesign, it's a link. So if you don't have a good organized folder system, you're going to go to make that PDF to send me, and you're not going to know where the photos are. The photos are all over in various places, like on your desktop, and then some are in the OneDrive, and then some are in like maybe your documents folder on your computer. You know, if they're all over the place, the computer, and then you move them, you're gonna break the links, and then you're gonna have a lot of time trying to fix all of those links. So does that make sense? The importance of keeping your files, folders organized and keeping them all in one place, so that when you build your InDesign file, it knows where the photos and the images are. Are there any questions about this setup of your folders in your OneDrive? Okay. So the first page of our document is the table of contents. So this first few pages, these first 4 pages, 2, 3, 4, are all instructions on how to do this. Once you've known how to do it, you're going to take those first 4 pages and you're going to delete them, because that's taught you how to do it. Now, once you know how to do it, you take them out. We don't need them in the final document. I don't want to see them in the final document. You want to take the instructions out. That's just for you to know how to do this. So the very first page is your table of contents. Once you're done putting your whole project brief together, you can go in on your master page of your table of contents. Let me actually go down here. There we go. And this is a separate type box, and you put in the numbers of the pages. So for example, page 2 is our project brief. Like I have like section pages, which are just a single color. The actual page 3 is where my project brief overview is going to go. So I'm going to go back to my table of contents and say the project brief is going to be on page 3. And I'm going to upload, you know, the numbers, whatever they are, and so on and so forth, of where each one of these are, and put them in to the file. So I'm going to populate these numbers once I know what they are. That's going to be one of the last things I do before I finalize my project brief. I'm going to put my numbers, page numbers, into my table of contents. It's important to delete those initial pages because that's going to affect your page numbers too. So those instruction pages need to be deleted so we can do that. Okay. Project brief overview. I want to add my project brief, and the overview is your design rationale. So you can add your design rationale here. You can just select the type. I'm in page 3, and I can select that type and restart typing and put in my my design rationale, okay? It's just placeholder text there ready for you to change and put in your own words, your design rationale. Before that, the way you add pages, so at the top here you see, or I'm sorry, the global details page, you see how that's just a blank page. I want to add in my project brief. I can click on global details and pull that in and add a page between the project brief, a blank page, and this is where I can put the PDF that is in our project brief in to add the actual project brief into our document here. Okay. And then you can add more pages. And again, I'm grabbing the global details page, which is just a blank page. And I'm going to add another one in. I'm just clicking and dragging in there. I just added another one. And that's how you can add pages. I don't want to add from here. Because I don't want, I want to, well, is it bringing in a, yeah, because it's not bringing in a global details page. I want to bring in an actual full global detail page. Is it bringing one in or is it just bringing any pages? No, it is bringing it in. I think because I grabbed the global details last, it'll grab it. That's good. And if you want to get rid of a page, you have too many, you can select a page on the left here and go to the trash and delete. Okay, so the same thing, you can delete them and add them the same way. Okay. Let me show you the few other templates in here. So the next page, the next section is project notes. And again, these are just sections. You can add as many pages as you want. So you notice this is just a blank page. The project notes is just a blank page. You're going to have more than one page. It's just a placeholder. So again, you just click on the notes and adding more pages. And these can be images. So let's say you want to add, you've photographed your notes or your Slack channel or your mural board. You go File, Place, and then you go to your project folder, your project one folder, you go to your notes section and you select your notes, whatever they are. Let's say these are my notes. I'm going to open it. Where did it go? Did I not grab it? I thought I did. Open. There we go. Okay. It loads on my cursor and I can do one of two things. I can hold my shift key down and it'll proportionately bring it in. And I'm going to bring it in nice and big so I can see it. Okay, so there's my notes. I'm filling my page. Okay, and then that's filling, then I have that filling my page. You can make it a little bigger. I can select the corners and kind of get it a little bigger if I want. And then I can just go to Object, Fitting, Fill Frame Proportionately, and it'll make it a little bigger. Okay, so then I've added my notes. I'm going to keep going. Initial research. Okay, so this is your mind map. So then the next page here, this is where you're going to put, again, screenshots of your mind map, any other research you did about your city, your place. Put those notes and that research here in this area. And then you're going to your sketches. Now you can choose to use this gridded page. You don't have to. It's a thumbnail sketch grid if you want to put various, individual sketches in each one, or you can just grab, again, the notes page, a blank page, and add, blanks, and then just put your scanned images in. So again, anytime you want to add an image, it's Edit. It's File, Place. Again, go to your folder, grab your image, and then put it in your file. And you're going to go through, I'm just going to walk you through the other categories. So we have research. Oh, we already did that. Thumbnail sketches, and then obviously After we're at that point right now, actually, we probably were there last week, is a midpoint reflection. And so we're going to do 2 reflections on each project. And let me just tell you what those are. The midpoint reflection is telling us where you're at in the process right now. What decisions you've made, where you're at, like for example, telling us what city you chose, the 5 keywords you're working from, maybe some of the typefaces you chose, the feedback you're getting in your small group discussion, what direction you're taking, how you're feeling about the direction you're taking. It does not need to be very long, but it does need to be succinct, and you need to tell us like where you're at in the project. What are your thoughts? How do you feel it's going? What decisions are you making or contemplating or thinking about? All those thought processes should be in this midpoint reflection. So we're at the point right now in the project where this week you want to write your midpoint reflection. And then that you can just type it right into your process book. You can just select the type and start typing and put it right in, okay? You'll do at the end of the project a final reflection, a final project reflection, telling us how did it go? What did you feel were the successes? What were you feel were the challenges? What were the things that you're really proud of? And so you're going to walk us through how the end of it went at the end of the project. Are there any questions so far? The midpoint reflections usually happen right before the digital roughs or right at the digital roughs. So that's where we're at right now, which is our digital roughs. And that goes next. There's our midpoint reflection. There's our digital roughs, and then that goes into that section. Then we'll do refinements, which is what we're going to be working on this week. And then we're going to move into finals. And then at the end, you'll have a project reflection. Again, you can type it right in. It's already laid out, all ready for you to go. Okay, and that's basically how the template works. Remember, the master pages are all these double aught pages at the top. You can toggle this screen up and down, see as many of those as you want or as few. Remember, the main one you're messing with, you're interacting with is this global details one, where you're going to put the name of the project and your name. You're going to delete the instructions after you've read them and understand them. And you're going to add your page numbers into the table of contents and then all of your content in. You're going to add as many pages as you need along the way to fill all the content that you've created. The last thing I'd like to do at the end too is once you've finished the project, we're all done. At the very front, I like to add a page. Hold on, where am I? Oh, not another table of contents page, but a none page, a blank page at the beginning. And I'm going to put it to the left of our first page. And here's where I would make a cover image. And I would just, again, make a text box and call it project 1, and then add your name. And then you can also bring in an image of your final project here on this cover and make a cover, like a cover for any book you would. So it's just really saying it's project 1, form and counterform, your name, and then an image of your final project. And I would make a cover for it. And that's just a nice way to have it feel like a complete document. That isn't in the template. It's something that you just add. I think that's a nice touch for you, for your final process book. So you have it. So it doesn't just start with the table of contents. It actually has a cover page. All right, that's it. So the only tools you're really having to worry about using is the type tool. And you have the same tools that we have in Illustrator, which is you have a select tool and a direct select tool. Those are the only 3 tools you're going to need in InDesign as you're putting this process book together, because the whole document has been set up for you. So you have the 2 selection tools, which are the exact same as we use in Illustrator, and the type tool, which also works the same way that we use it in Illustrator. So the thing that's different is this Pages menu, and just navigating your document through this Pages menu. That's the number one thing. Make sure you're in the typography workspace, and make sure the very first item here is Pages, and that you double click and open up that Pages menu, and that's what you're going to be using to navigate your document. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to stop the video here.